Hey guys, Bad Vision here. So I pulled apart the intake today, and this thing inside was, I can't get to focus, completely coated with carbon. I mean, all the way through. It was probably from an inch and a quarter, inch and a half piping to probably a 3/4 inch hole through this butterfly valve here. Tried to get as much out as I possibly could using lacquer thinner, brake cleaner, a drill with a flexible head brush on it. I got the majority of it out and got it so I didn't have any particles coming out of it. So the idea with that was just to clean it up to give it a little more breathing as stock. But when it comes down to having a larger turbo is when I'm going to do a sheet metal intake. Because it is a forced induction motor, basically the intake goes through and feeds a solid chamber. It's a square chamber with the 4 ports. So when it pressurizes, all the cylinders get the exact same amount. So building a sheet metal intake, a lot of people have just cut this manifold flat and put a log on it. And it works. It's not crazy race precision. So if you're looking to have that 300 horsepower TDI, you might not want to do that, but if you are looking to just get up into the 200s, I would recommend going that route, in which I probably will once I get a bigger turbo, bigger injectors, and maybe rebuild the motor at that point. But yeah, so I've been designing a front motor mount. Unfortunately, that stupid jet is still here. Got to get that off to scrap so I actually can pull the 4Runner in and start test fitting. I've got everything adapted to it, and I've just been working on sorting the systems as far as the vacuum lines and also the cooling, getting that worked out on how I'm going to run that. The exhaust, I got to make a new flange and make a new downspout for that. Yeah, so it's been just kind of slow progress. It's sad that I don't have this sucker in, but the intake manifold had to be done. I mean, that just had to be done. It had to have killed a ton of horsepower from this thing not being able to breathe. And I got a bunch of stuff in the mail. Haynes manual was actually kind of good for the money that I spent on it. Everybody's like, oh, get the Bentley, get the Bentley. Well, unfortunately, there's enough people who have PDF'd the exact wiring diagrams from Bentley that you don't really need to spend the $90 to get one. And then the $30 Haynes manual actually has some pretty good diagrams that we're able to read a little bit better. So I have here the electrical components I'm going to be installing. Basically, I'm going to do a single switch for ECU power on. And then I have a green switch here, which is going to be my diesel pump, my primer pump. That's going to be bypassed with valves that are kind of easy access. So if I do lose pressure, I can easily just flip the pump on and it primes the system, which would be really nice if I run into an issue. And I've got these micro switches for glow plug and for the starter. I went with something small because I can squirrel it away, hide it in, anywhere I can get it to hide. I've got the main fuse blocks ready to go here with the 30, 10s, 30, 10, 10, and a 20. Basically powering the ECU systems, so I can do a main power to it, power these up and run them to relays for direct power without an issue. It's got a nice cover. For the money it was pretty good, honestly. I don't know how long it'll last, but it'll get me going. So anyway, just giving you guys the update as that sits. I'm hoping to have this stupid car out of here tomorrow, but there's no guarantees, honestly. I sucked out the fuel from it, trying to get rid of these tires because the scrapyard are going to dock me if I bring it over to them with tires, and I'm not crazy concerned about that, but the more money I can get back out of this thing, the better. So yeah, so that's where it sits. Hopefully we'll have it in by this weekend. And yeah, that mount I'm working on, I think I'm going to use a round puck single engine mount that has a single screw head coming off. I've seen a lot of people use them. They're pretty easy to get a hold of. And then just fab something up that fits into this bracket that's already here, and then run the tree from here, either a nice rounded pipe going to frame with that bracket drop below it, or a square tube, whatever's easier and whatever I can get. readily. Yeah, I got a whole steel rack there, so I'm not concerned about it, but I got to figure out how I want to run it. The other thing I ran into with this is I like the cartridge oil filter, but I'm not sure if I want to use it. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough room on that side. Judging by the size, man, I'm going to have a ton of room, but I wanted to play with a little factory alternator. I'm working on the wiring for that as well. Getting it deleted down to run basic signals. So, I mean, obviously signal to engage and signal to push power. Hopefully I can get that worked over. If not, I'll have to build a bracket to run a GM or even the standard Toyota. And then the power steering pump, I think that's good. I gotta check the pressures, but I believe I'm gonna use that because it's got a simple gravity fed return and a simple high pressure output. So I'm gonna run that right to the 4Runner if possible. If not, then, you know, maybe keep it on there for hydraulic assist boost, maybe. Again, not 100% sure. So yeah, that's where it stands, and hopefully look for an update soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to stay updated.